Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Chris Dennis here, putting specialist and short game performance coach. So like I said before, we are going to look at getting a mid handicap on here. We are here and we are joined by Dave today.
Morning.
So I'd like to bring Dave in here now. So I'd like to say thank you first of all to Dave for coming on, taking time out of his day to, obviously what we're going to do is give you an insight of, Dave, what do you play off?
14.
14. So Dave's off 14, and what I want to do is, like the course management videos we've been doing, is show, you know, Dave's never played here, so this is Dave's first round here at Royal Waterfront. So we're going to talk him around, we're going to see what he scores today, how he gets on and what processes he goes through. Obviously then from there we're going to start to build and look at what we're going to do course management wise, what we might need to do putting wise, and maybe what we need to do short game wise. So Dave uses the RCOS system, which is a system that I'm going to review in the next couple of days, but what it does is it gets Dave's stats. So what we're going to do at the end of the round is obviously Dave's going to put his scores in there. It's going to then say what handicap it rates him with his putting, chipping, pitching, approaches and driving, so we can start to get a good picture of what it's rating Dave, where he's losing his shots and where we obviously can save some. So obviously for yourselves, when you go out there, it's about thinking about why you're losing shots. So most of the time people come to me say, well, I'm putting rubbish. But then when I go out, or if I ask them about the round, they've lost 3 balls off the tee, which is a minor detail. I mean, I do that also, so don't worry about it. But we need to identify what's going wrong. So we're going to play 9 holes today. We're going to go through that. So I'm going to let Dave tee us off. I'll talk him through the first hole and we'll get going. So first hole, Dave, par 4, we want to be looking at that telegraph in the distance.
Yep.
The fairway all slopes from right to left. So normal shot, play well.
Cheers, you too.
That'll come round nicely. So Dave, what you got?
Got a 7 iron.
Okay, perfect. So Dave's picked a 7-iron here and he's just shown me the app, obviously RCOS. What it does is it allows him to see front of the green, middle of the green, back of the green, and it also takes into account the wind.
Yep.
Which is pretty good. So obviously it gives him, although it's 129 to the middle, it's saying it's playing 131. Then you can also select caddy. So it also, obviously after you've played with it a few times, it then gives you an idea of what club you hit what distance. So for Dave it picked 7-iron. So obviously Dave's never played here, but we've had a great morning so far. It is 6 AM, so we have somehow beat the greenkeepers out here. Richard's still having his brew. And there's no flags currently in the greens. So luckily I played yesterday, so we know the pin's front left. So obviously Dave said here, obviously he's seen the lie, the ball's above his feet, so he's going to aim for the right side of the green. So
Bit harsh, no flags. Good job we're not playing for money.
yeah, that's very true. So, take it away. So good. Started right, hasn't moved probably as much as you thought off the slope.
No, I thought it'd come round.
So we'll get down there, it looks like we're chipping up and down. So what did you play there, Dave?
I played a sand wedge.
So sandwich, so off the top of a slope, coming down to the green. And again, you've left yourself a reasonable putt for the first hole of the day. And good news, we've got the flag. The flag has arrived, and what a morning. Pretty good.
Hold on.
Steady away. So a 4 and a 5 to start, so not a bad start, Dave.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad to say you had no flag. That'll work.
Yeah.
Loosening up.
You she'll fade.
That'll do. So good drive, Dave. So we're in here now. We've got around about 250 yards. So what would you normally go for from here?
Because it's in some light rough, I'm going for rescue.
Yep.
Well, I can't make the green with it unless I get a complete flyer, but
Yep.
just try and get somewhere near.
Try and get down there. Perfect.
Ooh.
So a little right. A couple of bouncers we should get. Right, Dave, talk us through what you've got.
Arcos is telling me that it's 110 yards to middle at green.
Yep.
9 iron. Fly's good. Might be stood on a bit of a path, but
Yeah, so we'll move it slightly off the path, so we'll get you dropped so you're not standing on there. So yeah, it's 100 and what, 9?
10 it says.
110 to the middle of the green. And luckily, I know again, the flag is not in, it's resting next to the green. But the flag is right in the middle of the green. So if we go straight at that telegraph pole, that's probably your line. So 9 iron as Arcos says. Great strike.
Bit of a pull. Oh, bit
Ooh.
big.
A little bit long. So Dave, what have you thought here? What have you had a look at? Have you had a look at anything?
Yep, I've had a quick wander to the flag. I'm going to try and play an approach wedge, land it, hopefully somewhere about there-ish.
Okay.
It should run out.
Perfect.
Stop.
So par 4, Dave. Obviously, as we've said there, it's a par 4 here, third hole. Straight down, quite tight. So obviously, it widens up around about 200 yards. So obviously, you've picked driver. So your line's basically straight through the middle of the reds.
Okay, cheers, cheers.
Good ball.
Cheers. Shot.
Lures. So Dave, cracking drive. So what's Arcos saying? What have we got?
Arcos is saying 69 to the front,
Okay.
86 to the middle, 103 to the back. You said it's fairly close to the back.
Yep.
So Arcos is saying it's a bit downhill, pitching wedge.
Yeah, perfect. So we're playing a 90, 100 yard shot to where the flag is. So Arcos has said pitching wedge, so let's test it out. Great strike.
Cheers.
Yeah, a little bit long. So again, good strike. To be fair, it was slightly pulled, so that's probably why it was a little bit long. But again, we've got a pretty good chip down to the green. Down to the green, down to the flag. So Dave, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking approach wedge again.
Okay.
Starts off fairly flat on the green and then it runs away down to the flag. So if I land it just on the green, I'm hoping it'll release and run down.
Okay, perfect. So approach wedge, landing it just on and seeing if it runs out.
Expected it to run a bit more than that.
Yeah, so pretty good, just didn't run out as much as you thought.
The dreams are alright.
There we go. Right, up and down. Perfect, so you can see there, Dave, on your Arcos system, you've got the hole there in front of you, so let's have a look at the yardages. Right, perfect, so it's saying, although the GPS says 202 to the front, with the slope and the wind it's saying 211 to the front?
Yep, that's right.
Perfect, and then obviously the back showing you that it's 232 but playing 241, so the flag is 5 yards on, or 5 paces on. So we're going to be looking at playing probably a 215 shot. So let's see what the caddy says for you.
Driver.
Perfect. So the caddy's saying there it's driver, which obviously uphill, I would say, especially this early in the morning. It's not flying too far. So let's go driver.
Slipped. Oh, nice bounce now.
Slipped a bit. Got a good bounce, and it's alright, we've got a shot.
Do you?
Absolute stinger. Not the plan, but it'll do. Good to see the greenkeepers have now joined us. Probably going to follow us all the way around. Mr. Jones. So, a little bit short on the fringe there from Dave, so it wasn't his best drive. He did slip and it looked like he tried to hit it a little bit hard, for what I would say, so he wasn't in balance. But again, it's a very tough hole this, the third at Waterfront, so getting out of here with anything, a par or a bogey, again with a 14 handicap, is a good result.
Will do.
Good effort. Bad, good pace.
Yep. So far.
Good thought.
Take a photo in here.
So Dave, through 4 holes, 3 over par.
Yep.
So again, off 14, we've got 7 shots on this front 9. Again, we've got a good par 5 here, short par 3 then, and we've got a couple of easier holes coming in. So, well, famous last words,
exactly,
easier holes. So when you play normally, what would you say is the your biggest weakness? What costs you the most shots? Is it? Would you say it's off the tee?
It's off the tee position. I can either hit something really good or it's absolutely shocking, and I never really know which it's going to be.
Yeah.
Then around the green, the chipping isn't great, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So I mean, so far he's drove the ball pretty well. Obviously, we saw on the last hole, the par 3, out of balance a little bit, but your others have been okay.
Yeah.
But obviously, we know in 18 holes there's a couple that might slide and then cost you a few. And again, around the edge of the greens, a few chip shots. You've chipped pretty well today. One's not run out. I mean, we are out at 6 AM, so there's still a bit of dew on the greens, and the greenkeepers haven't even put the flags out. And now they've just come to make some noise. But obviously now going forwards, we're going to see that obviously the Arcos system so far has helped Dave with club selection. So obviously it's something that I see a lot, and like I say, we will do a review on this because it's something that really highlights to people where you're losing shots. So obviously when we get to the end of this 9 holes, so we're going to have half this week and half next week, so we'll play this as our last hole today, and then from there it gives them a breakdown of what roughly your handicap is, doesn't it?
Yeah, it separates into different parts of your game. It'll say that you've got a handicap of so-and-so for driving, so-and-so for putting. If you're in any sand, it'll say what handicap you'd be out of sand and stuff like that.
So it's giving the breakdown of where he's losing shots and what his handicap would be. So obviously for that's great for him when he goes for a lesson. So obviously when he's looking at, oh, I might go for a lesson, he can go, right, you know what, I need a bunker lesson this week, or I might need a driving lesson, or I might need a long iron lesson. So it really breaks it down. So let's play this hole now. So par 5, hopefully we sneak a birdie or even a par and get out of here, and then obviously going into next week we've got a few shots left coming down the last 4. So obviously another good thing here with Arcos is, like Dave said, when we get onto a par 5 it gives him his optimum strategy. So it's starting to say which is the best play, and it also says For his handicap, it's working out that if he plays to this strategy, he's going to be having 5.6 strokes. So sometimes he might make a 5, sometimes he might make a 6, but if he does this strategy, again, he's got to hit the shots, don't get me wrong, but obviously it can give him the best strategy that's going to get him the lowest score. Obviously it gives an optimal, and it also gives an alternate strategy. So it gives him something here where it says he might hit a 3-wood off the tee instead of a driver, which might be 5.7 shots. So more chance of getting a 6. But again, if you're somebody who's not comfortable with your driver, that's the option that you could go to. So you could be hitting a 3-wood off there. Obviously it comes up with multiple different options, so it'll start to go down to a 4 hybrid for the corner. All different options that you can see. So if you're not comfortable with a certain iron, a certain wood, you can then look at the other options, and it's going to show you the best way for you to make the lowest score possible. So again, another great thing of Arccos, it's a bit of a caddy as well. It tells you what clubs to hit, but it also gives you options. Good ball.
Well shot.
So pretty good drive, Dave. So what have you got in now?
I've okay. In total we've still got 355 yards.
So still 355, so we're looking to obviously advance it down there. So you've got hybrid, I can see.
Hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid 4?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So that's going to get us down there close to...
Should leave somewhere between 150 and 180.
Somewhere between 150 and 180. Perfect. So your line's your telegraph pole. That's where the fairway goes, so when you're ready. Super strike.
Cheers.
Good shot.
Thank you.
So I've ran out a little bit too far here, so hit my driver a little bit too well. It's ran behind here, so I'm just now trying to get this back in play. One way of doing it. Took half the tree off. So Dave, it looks like you've hit it to pretty much where you've got, so what's Arccos saying now?
It's saying 144 to the front, 161 middle, 178 back.
Okay.
It's then saying...
So caddy's saying...
168 yards.
Yeah.
Which would be my 5 hybrid.
5 hybrid, perfect. And this is the first hole that the greenkeepers have put the flag in for us, so we're living the dream.
Yeah, great stuff.
So 5 hybrid, so let's go for that. Let's see where that leaves us. So yeah, another great strike. Little right, but that should come round. Yeah, so looks like we're on the fringe. Might be a little bit long.
Yeah, maybe.
But good strike, we'll take that.
That looks nice.
So Dave's gone slightly long of the pin high wise, but he's got all the green to work with. So again, Arccos there, it's giving him a club and it gives you obviously an average, but he hit that probably a little bit better than normal, hit it out of the screws, so it's gone a little bit further, but again, it's not put him into trouble. But what we see obviously a lot of times with amateurs is they start to come up short, so Arccos is really helping Dave here to again keep his scores down.
Take that.
Very good.
Oh.
What a morning. What a time to be alive. Good putt.
Cheers.
Good up and down.
5.
5. Got the 5. Okay guys, so that's been the first 5 holes, so we've just worked it out because the second is actually a par 4. So Dave's parred that one. So again, a great par on here. He's played with the Arccos. So the Arccos system, and I will say it time and time again, is a great system. So it's like having a caddy going around with you, somebody who's giving you an idea of what club to hit. Because a lot of the times I see people underhit, especially like on the par 3 that's 220 yards. even when it came out for driver for Dave, he was like, driver, you know, you want to try and hit a 3-wood or get something there, but obviously you've seen that, you know that's the club that's took into account your averages, and then you start to use the right club to get up towards the green. So we're going to play the next 4 holes now, and obviously we're going to have that on next week, because obviously when we finish those 4 holes, we'll see what score Dave's got. We'll obviously look at all his numbers, so we'll go through the full Arcos system and get the breakdown of, you know, what his handicap is off the tee, what his approach is, what he is around the greens. Maybe if he goes in a bunker, he hasn't yet, what his scoring is like out of there, and again what he's like on the green. Because obviously through this series what we're going to do is we're going to do a fitting with Dave, so we're going to go through a putter fitting, we're going to look at some wedges for Dave, obviously if that can help him with his yardages, if that's a problem when we look at the stats, and again start to see how we can start to save him shots without trying to change too much technically. We will go through his putting and chipping, so we will show you videos of how we're going to work on that to hopefully save him more shots. So hopefully you've enjoyed that today. Obviously I know a lot of you have wanted a mid-handicapper on here. James Robinson is close to that, but technically he is a professional. But we did make him shoot under par. So obviously we're going to keep doing this series. Comment below anything you want to see, if it's anything to do with irons, with woods, is it shaping shots with a mid-handicapper, anything like that, comment below guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and like I say, I'll see you again tomorrow.